On this video, I'm actually going to be sharing my first appearance on the LOA Today radio show. And so I'm going to just attach that recording to this video if you want to listen to it. It's about an hour long, and we actually talked a lot since it's the first time I was on the show. I'll be on every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern, and I'll put a link to the show down below. This show is all about working with law of attraction and everything else that comes up along with that. But me now as a co-host, I'm bringing, at least to the show on Friday afternoons, a little bit more of the energy healing aspect to it. So we spoke a lot about how I do the work that I do, and also then of course a lot of law of attraction stuff and sharing processes and things that have worked for me anyway, some of my wins. And Walt, I do this show with Walt Thiessen. It's his show. He actually has this LOA Today radio show twice a day. He's online giving this show, and he has a couple of different hosts that host with him. So anyway, I'm the new Friday girl, and we'll be talking about everything to do with law of attraction. And you're always welcome to send in questions or to call in with questions right there on the show, you know. If you wanted to ask me questions about things that are going on in your life, those Fridays at 4, I welcome you to do that. And so anyway, I'm going to just attach that show right here to this video to kind of introduce you to it. And I'll probably post these shows here on my YouTube channel anyway. So if you find that you enjoy them and you like them, I really do invite you to call in and get involved with that show. And as always, I'd love you to subscribe to my YouTube channel here and like and share and comment. And that's all. I'll just leave you with that today. I hope you enjoy the show, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.
Welcome to LOA Today. Walt Thiessen and new life coach Linda Armstrong. New to us anyway. She's been life coaching for a long time, but she's new to us. She's our new 4 p.m. Eastern Time Friday co-host. It's an exciting day when we bring on a new co-host. And Linda Armstrong is going to be with us once a week, sharing her insights, sharing her wisdom and information. And Linda, I also have to warn you, my other co-hosts have already told me up until now I had 5 free coaching co-hosts every single week. Now I have 7 with you and Patricia Framo coming on. So you're expected to carry your part of the load, okay?
Okay.
No, I'm just teasing you. But it's great to have you. Thanks for joining the podcast. Thanks for deciding to do this. Or at least you're trying it on a trial basis. Hopefully we're going to be able to talk you into doing this on a regular basis. But thanks for giving it a try. We appreciate it.
Thanks for inviting me. I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Why don't you give everybody just like a little quick potted bio? Like what are you all about? Because everybody comes at this whole topic in a slightly different way, and there are different kind of coaching modalities people do and so forth. What's your practice about, and what's your approach about?
Okay, so I am a master certified law of attraction energy coach, but I add energy healing to that, and I'm certified in a bunch of modalities. So basically what I do is I clear subconscious programming so that the people I work with can step into their full potential to create a life you love. That's my website, lovemylife.coach. So I combine coaching and energy healing together to just clear the energy that's in the way, and then set my clients up for manifesting what it is that they want to create.
Now, I got to ask you this, and this is like one of those little trivia things that nobody really cares about, but I care about, so that's why I'm asking it. And my thing is this: there are some people who say that there is positive energy and there is negative energy, and there are other people like me who say there's just energy. It's just a question of whether we like it or not. Which do you think is the case?
I would tend to think more along your lines, although most people look at that energy that's not serving them as negative.
Okay.
But possibly you're coming from that angle, which I come from. There is no negative because everything is teaching you and guiding you and assisting you to expand into more of who you came here to be.
Yeah, I think that's true. I think the way I look at it is there's just energy. Energy is just energy. And so
Okay.
there's really only one thing. The question is, how do we feel about it? Do we like where this energy is going? Then we say that's positive energy. Do we dislike
Right.
where that energy is going? Then we say that's negative energy. Do we
Right.
like that this is associated with this goal that we have in mind? Then that's positive energy. Do we hate the fact that this is leading up to this result we absolutely despise? Then it's negative energy. But it's still energy. It's just energy. We're just labeling it. That's all.
Yeah, you're just labeling it. But the thing is that one that we want to label as the more negative energy, it does stand in the way. And so you need to know how to approach that energy and clear it. And sometimes it just takes being mindful of it. Like, okay, yeah, I'm in this lower energy. So what is it trying to tell me or teach me, or how is it supporting me in some way? Because that's an angle not everybody gets at first until they start looking at it to see why this negative aspect of my life is actually helping to make me more of who I came here to be.
And I suspect that means something specific to you. Like I can think of there's a guy named Ron Howard is a movie director. Ron Hubbard. Ron Hubbard. He was the one who wrote Dianetics.
Right.
And he was the one who talked about clearing all the time. I suspect your idea of clearing and his idea of clearing are not really the same thing at all. But I figured I'd ask about that.
They are not the same thing, but kind of in a way, to some degree they are.
To some degree.
Because we all, we're a big ball of energy, right?
True.
Everything is just energy. Our bodies, your computer, this book in front of me, it's all little particles of energy. And so that can be worked with. So when your energy field makes up who you are, which is bigger than your actual body, when it has bits and pieces and things that are of that negative energy, that can be cleared. So I know that for a fact because I clear this stuff all the time. So, but I don't necessarily label it negative energy. It's just a lower vibrational aspect of us that can be raised to a higher level.
So when you clear, what does that mean to say that you clear it? If you were trying to explain that in like physics terms, what does that mean?
Okay. Physics terms I'm not real good with.
Well, that's all right. I mean, I'm trying to say make it as, concrete as you can.
I can tell you from experience.
Yeah.
So, so if someone comes to see me and they want to work on a particular something that they want to manifest in their life, but no matter what they do, they just can't seem to get to it. There's something that keeps popping up that's in the way. Mm-hmm. A lot of times that's built out of patterns, programs, beliefs that you've picked up along your way in your life from well-meaning people outside of you, be it parents, teachers, doctors, media. Mm-hmm. All of that is programming in your subconscious mind that it's running. Even if you want to say, no, I'm a happy, positive person, but then this energy comes up. Well, it's there. There's something there that's keeping you from being that happy, positive person. Mm. So I can, because, as I said, I combine energy healing. So I'm intuitive and I can tap into the people I'm working with. Mm-hmm. And I'll just know, I'll just be downloaded with information. And I might pull up an experience they had in their life, which, so maybe somebody, when they were younger, the people around them didn't support their ideas and made them feel like they could never be successful at what they would love to do. Right now, if you're a kid and you totally love something, you came here to fulfill that as part of your destiny in life, even if it doesn't seem like it makes sense to some adult or teacher. So those well-meaning people who think it's crazy, that kid could never do that, will squash that dream. But meanwhile, they grow up, they're an adult, and they have this part of them that really wants to fulfill something about this dream. But they have this negative programming. I'm going to call it negative because it's stopping them from believing that in their own true potential. Mm-hmm. So I can uncover these things and clear the energy attached to it. Okay. Clear the traumatic experience, if that's what it was that created this belief that makes them feel like they're not good enough and there's no way they can do this in life.
Now, are you actually doing the clearing, or are you leading the person you're working with to clear it themselves?
I'm channeling the energy that clears.
You're actually doing it yourself. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I can't say I'm doing it myself because I can't do it without my connection to the all that is, that energy.
True. Yeah. That's interesting. This is the first time I've heard of this particular approach with somebody who practices as a law of attraction coach. So it's fascinating to me because everybody
Right.
else I talk to, they talk about helping the person clear stuff out or helping the person root things
Well,
out and look at it and examine it and dissipate it and all
yeah.
that kind of thing.
The difference is I'm helping them to see and clear what they weren't able to see before. But so I'm able to tap in and help them to bring up the experience that created this belief or this, limiting programming that is preventing them from getting to that desire. And that can be cleared. And so I guess it's okay to talk about what I do because you're asking me.
That's true.
So, if someone comes to see me, they might come in. I had a client the other day and within minutes, she's crying in our session because this energy is coming up. And the thing is, when they come to me, it comes up because, it needs to be released and their guides and angels are letting them know, okay, this is the time to do it.
Yeah.
It just comes on. So, but by the time I'm done talking to her, I can be doing this online or in person. I'm just channeling this energy and I'm clearing the things that come to me intuitively. It's vows, oaths, and decisions. It's energy ties to experiences. It's trauma. It's adding in forgiveness. A lot of times it's because you're just holding on to something you can't forgive. So after I do all of the stuff I do, and they're a participant in that because, everybody has free will. So I can't do anything that they don't want to do. I'm always going to ask, would you like to clear this experience or, this belief? Can we flip it, send it? Pretty much I pull the belief. It's when I do that, it's more of a theta healing technique. Pull the belief, send it to the light. And I channel what a new belief is that is then downloaded into every single cell of their body.
Okay, I got to stop you there because there are a couple things I need to ask. First of all, what is a theta healing thing? I'm not sure what you said.
Theta healing is a very, very well-known, popular healing technique.
Okay.
So it's theta healing.
Well, I don't know. So you're going to have to explain it to me because I've never heard of it. So.
Theta healing. Vianna Steibel is a woman's name who stumbled upon this and grew it within her own life. She had miraculous healings within her physical body by doing what she was led to understand of this modality. So basically this theta healing, what it does, you get into a theta brainwave. So you're in, kind of like in a nice meditative place where then you can make that connection to the energy outside of us that it can do the healing. The energy that heals is love, right? Everything is love, and that's the energy that heals. And that's that high vibe that you love so much when you're doing your shows, right? Mm-hmm. You're just in that beautiful energy of love.
Right.
That's the energy that heals. So with theta healing, you get into the place where you can channel that energy, and then you can change beliefs, release the ones that don't serve them, and put in new ones that do.
And the theta pattern, that's the relaxed pattern, right? Describe as best you can. What are the different patterns here that we're talking about, just so we know what theta is compared to the others?
Theta is one where you're more. So I believe alpha is when you're really consciously aware, but you're in this great state of energy. Mm-hmm. Theta, you're a little bit more out there. You're
out there, like most of law of attraction practitioners. We're out there.
Yeah, we're out there. You're in that. When you're really in that really high vibe. So you're there and you're very conscious. It's just another brainwave state, and actually, I can't really scientifically tell you the difference between all of them.
Okay.
Some are deeper, more like a sleep state. So the theta is it's that place where for me, it's just that when I'm doing this work, I am just so in this energy of expansion and love that is not my normal walking around state.
Well, that leads to my other question, which is, okay, you're talking with somebody, you've identified some energy that needs to be cleared, you decide you're going to clear it. Is there any way you can describe experientially what's it like when you're clearing?
Okay, for the person who I'm working with?
No, what's it like for you, from your perspective?
For me? I'm just channeling. I actually feel like I'm high after a session because I'm just in this expanded energy where, if you meditate and you get to that place where you can't even feel your body anymore, it's just this really you feel so much bigger than you are, because your energy is so expanded. You become more of the fullness of the actual you, not the you that's the part of you that's in your body. So for me, it's just that really expanded place. For the people I work with, what happens is, so I was starting to say that before, that, this one client, she was crying at the beginning of the session. By the end of the session, she's floating as high as I am. So usually I like to say that I help people to bring more light into their life, because when they leave, that's what everybody says. Oh my God, I feel so much lighter. So as if you're lighter in your body, like you don't weigh as much anymore, even though you weigh the same.
Yeah, right. So when from your perspective, when you're doing it, you're in this place where you're, like you said, you're almost out of your body in a sense, but not quite. Is there something that you're actually doing, or are you just kind of residing in that state?
I can get myself in that state just with intention, because I do it so often, and I've been trained in some bunch of different modalities where I've opened to be able to hold this energy. Is the only way I can probably explain that.
I guess what I was trying to ask is there something that you do? I mean, I'll make up something silly just to give you an idea. So you get yourself into this heightened state, and then you pick up your magic wand and go, okay, energy, go away. I mean, that's a doing of something. Is there something that you do when you get to that state? The way the energy leaves is by me doing the clearings for the pattern, the program that's running in their system. Be it, so if there's a limiting belief and I switch that belief, that right there, you can feel the difference. So there's one, let me explain it this way. It might be easier for you. There's a modality that I use. It's called the gate. And there's like only a handful of people who actually do it in this country. The person who had this healing modality channeled to them is from Israel. So he's come here and he's taught. When I'm working with, I combine everything I know in every session. Whatever it is that will help my client the most is where I go. But this modality, so I can have you, okay, so say we want to double the amount of listeners to this radio show, right? This is like, say this is one of you. Hey, let's do it now. I'm ready. Let's go.
Say this is one of your desires. We can't really do this right now because it's a little more intimate than what we're doing at this moment.
Oh, shucks.
But what I would do is I would have you pretty much, you would be in a very relaxed state, and I would do a little bit of guiding you into this relaxed place where you're very receptive. And then I'd have you talk to your body. Okay. Cause I mean, I don't know how spiritual your audience is with law of attraction, but if everything is energy, I am not my body. I am the energy that inhabits my body. Right. So your body is the tool that you travel this planet with. It takes you everywhere. It allows you to have all this experience. So we work with the body. So I would have you talk to your body. Like even internally, you just kind of tell your body, show me how it would feel and what it would be like in general as I double my listeners on my radio show and blah, 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 whatever else you want to say.
Okay.
So, and then I have you sit with that. So we're talking to the body, right? Now, if there is resistance, so resistance is anything that will keep this from manifesting. If there's resistance, you'll feel it in your body. So we're not doing this right now. So, hoping this isn't going to happen for you at the moment. But you'll feel something. So people might all of a sudden have a headache or their stomach is churning, or they feel like they have a weight on their chest, or their body is itchy, or they get hot, or they get cold, or they feel a pain shoot down their leg. Like something will turn on within the body that lets me know, okay, here's the resistance.
Okay.
Then I do a couple of simple clearings, and guess what? That headache that was there a second ago is gone.
And tell me again, what are you doing when you're clearing? I mean, okay, you've said I got to clear. Now, what's your next thing that you do?
Okay, so say we clear that pain went away. We see what else shows up.
No. You misunderstand my question. I'm saying to actively to actually do the clearing exercise. The part where you're okay. Here's the before clearing. I'm doing my thing, and now I'm after clearing. What's the doing my thing that gets you from before to after?
The doing my thing is my connection to that healing energy that comes through that is much wiser than I am.
So you're just staying in that connected mode. You're not really doing anything.
I'm just channeling.
You're staying there.
I'm channeling, and I'm being guided as to what things to help them to clear.
So you're pointing out, okay, this needs to be cleared.
Well, yeah, as soon as you feel with that particular modality, as soon as you feel something going on that doesn't feel comfortable in your body, if it feels good, that's great. It means you have nothing blocking you from this manifestation.
Okay.
But things will turn on, and then as they do, I'll clear them. And it might turn on differently. Then they don't have the headache. Now all of a sudden they got a pain in their neck because there's more energy there that needs to release. So the body is being released from the cells of your body. Because we hold this stuff. This is our vehicle, right? So that's why I look at energy healing like a tune-up. But what I love about what I do is I take it that much further, and that everything I do is geared towards manifesting what you want. Because there's no way I could ever let go of that LOA part of me, because it just is, right?
Yep. Absolutely.
So I pretty much help people to be able to work with it in an easier manner. Because, when I was first learning all of this, you stumble up on all these things and you feel like you can't do it. Law of attraction doesn't work.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's a very common reaction, especially if you're not in the right frame of mind, if you're not in the right emotional space. Yeah, you're not getting the result that you wanted. Well, this stuff doesn't work. Throw it in the wastebasket. Well,
this stuff is working because all you're seeing is I'm not getting this stuff that I wanted.
That's right, yes. Which is really, that sometimes pisses me off, I got to tell you.
Well, that's where we have to respect this law of attraction. It's okay, true. Buddy, I'm working with you. Okay, I know my neck. I'm thinking about how it can't be. Of course, I'm going to get more. It's that big thing going back. The universe knows one word.
Yeah, this is very true.
Yes.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. I'm never going to get there. Yes, you're never going to get there. So, that's what we work on clearing.
So you've mentioned a couple of your influences, people who you've learned from and so forth. Are there any other influencers in your life, people you've learned method from or theory from or whatever that you really, you keep going back to over and over again?
I guess the biggie of always is going to be Abraham, because that got the whole ball rolling.
Yeah.
And then there have been many different teachers, that I've come across I've done a lot of courses. So every one of them, there's great books out there. So there's no one person, and it's pretty much everyone. You can go down the list of all those books that have been written out there that are very popular. Everybody has probably read, and those great influencers. Sometimes you get one little thing from a book or a movie, and then that's amazing.
It's true. And by the way, speaking of books, I should mention, Linda is also a contributor to the book we just finished back in May, called Your Daily Dose of Happy, Real Success Stories of the Law of Attraction. And you actually had 2 stories, didn't you, in the book? I think you did.
I did, yes.
You did. One was about the karate story, which I love. And I'm trying to remember what was the second one? I'm trying to remember what the second one was.
The other one was my dream house.
Oh, the dream house. That's right. Yes. Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I just did a video on another favorite of mine that I'm releasing actually today or Monday. I have 2 that I just shot. I do a lot of YouTube videos. Another process, it's kind of an Abraham Hicks process, but with a twist.
Okay.
Should I tell you?
Yeah. Oh God, yes. Please do. Are you kidding? This is a tell-all show. You're gonna find over time that you're gonna tell more stuff than you ever imagined telling before. So feel free. Absolutely, feel free.
All right. So lots of people will use an appreciation gratitude journal, right?
Sure.
So there was a teacher in one of my coaching academies who gave me a different twist on it, and it works because it really invites LOA to do its thing, right? So how you can just write appreciation, gratitude of what's happening throughout your day, right?
Yep.
It feels good. You have to hold that vibe as you're writing it down. Then you flip the page, and I like to do 5 to 10 future appreciations.
Okay.
So they did not happen yet in my material world, but of course they did happen because I've already sent them out there. The desire, once you have a desire and you send it out there, it's done.
Yeah, it's already in the vortex.
It's already there.
Yep.
You just have to line up with it, right? So this helps you to line up with it.
Okay.
So an example that I gave, and I wasn't going to give you this one, but I figured, how many can I give Walt for the book?
Well, as many as I could get out of you. That's what it comes down to. No, I'm kidding. I'm teasing.
Well, this one was fun because with this, it's this future appreciating. We're going to call that future appreciation and gratitude. So I would write, future things, but I would write them as if they already existed, but you have to feel it. Because as you know, you can say the words all day long, but if you're not vibrating to it, if you're not holding the energy of it,
that's right.
It's not going to be there for you.
That's true. Yeah.
So the house that I did talk about in the book, the dream house, I did a lot of work on this house. When I moved in, I changed the windows, the siding, granite, carpeting in the bedrooms, the sunroom at the back, landscaping, fencing, like a lot of stuff. I didn't get to doing my driveway, which was a crumbly mess.
Oh.
And I had a quote for $8,000, and I wasn't going to go into debt for it. I'm like, someday, so I just kind of put it to the side. So when I learned about this future appreciating process, I thought, I'm going to future appreciate my amazing driveway.
That's
right?
Cool. Yeah, sure.
So I would start making up stories. I definitely get in that gratitude place by writing down things that happened during the day. It doesn't matter what they are. It could be some little kid smiled at me and it made me feel great, right? That's appreciation, gratitude.
Absolutely. It counts.
Yeah. So I flipped the page and then I would start writing whatever, and you can do more than one desire, but I wouldn't work on too many at one time, like one to three. So I write down about my driveway. I'd write a little story about I can't believe how beautiful the driveway looks. My neighbor came over to compliment it, and they were saying how great the house looks now. And so I'm in this energy of someone else appreciating my driveway. I'll write that story. I write another story. Maybe I'm writing, it was so nice today. It was so hot out there. Those guys were working so hard. I brought them snacks and drinks. They were so happy.
I love it.
Yeah, I'd write these stories. Then another favorite one, and I would make them up because, you got to get into that little kid mind where anything is
great,
possible.
though. I mean, I love the detail. The level of detail is wonderful.
Yeah, because it helps you hold the vibe, right?
Yeah, sure.
So then, another one, because I'm in New York, and you're in Connecticut, right? When it snows, and if you have to shovel,
there it is.
And if you've ever shoveled a driveway that's got potholes and everything in it, you'll have been stabbed in the stomach many times,
Just
right?
a few, yeah. Mm-hmm.
The shovel gets stuck, and you keep going.
Yep.
So I would write, because that would happen, right? So I would write the opposite. I would write about how I felt like I was on ice skates as I was shoveling the driveway, and it was so smooth, and how much fun I had, and that kind of stuff, right? So I just make up stories. Okay, so this is the best part. Not even 2 months later of me making up these stories, but like you said, you notice I'm putting detail in there. I'm putting detail in because it helps you build the story and build energy.
Yeah.
And you can't help but feel it when you do that. So not even 2 months later, I also teach karate, right? You know that.
Right. Yep.
We were home on a Friday, me and my husband, no classes. Some guy knocks on the door and I look outside and it's this like scruffy, dirty looking guy. I'm like, oh, it's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But I opened the door and, to see what he wanted. He says to me, "Hi, I noticed your driveway could use some repair, and I have a truck full of leftover asphalt. I was working on a job down the road. I can do your driveway for $2 a square foot." So I look at him, and I'm like, okay, meet me out back. And I shut the door, and I go to my husband. I walk over to him like, the universe is talking to me. The universe is talking to me. I have no money to do this. No money to do this at all, right? I'm like, I got to go talk to this guy. So I go outside and he's like, yeah, walk with me and we can see how far I can do. I'll tell you how much it'll be. And he gets to like halfway, 2,500. I'm like, okay, so that means you can do the whole thing for 5,000. He's like, yeah, I can do the whole thing for 5,000. So I look at him. I'm like, okay, hold on. I'll be right back. And then I run inside and I go to my husband. I'm like, you know what? This guy can do the driveway for 5,000. I got to figure out how to do this because the universe is knocking on my door. So I decided, I thought for a few minutes, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to call. I called my dad and I asked him to borrow 5,000 because I knew I could pay him back in a couple of months. I would have never done that because there's no way I'm going to tap into his retirement money for my driveway. So I never even considered doing anything like that. But when I got in the energy of having this beautiful driveway, it had to come, right?
It did.
That seed was planted. I called my dad. I had the driveway was done the next day.
Wow.
Right? Paid it off in a couple of months.
Yep. That's fabulous. That's a great story.
I wasn't thinking about doing it. I put that off on the back burner.
But actually, in a sense, you were thinking about it because you were journaling about it. You were making up your story.
Before journaling it, I put it out of my mind. But once I decided oh, I can future appreciate something. I still need to get that driveway done. Okay, I'm going to start writing about my driveway. So I've done it with other things as well, but that's like my favorite story to tell because it's one of the more out of the blue kind of areas. Not that anything's ever out of the blue, but this guy showed up on my doorstep.
Yeah, that's nice.
Someone you wouldn't normally even want to open the door to because
yeah, right.
he was scruffy and dirty because he just was doing a job.
He was doing a driveway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny though. Do you run into situations where you're, I'll just say it in Abraham terms, you're running into resistance about the thing that you're trying to future tell the story about, so that you have trouble telling the story?
No, because when you future appreciate, you just have to get into that creative mind. We are all very creative, whether you think you are or not. You are extremely creative, and you can tap into that part of you. So if you have trouble with that, just pretend you're 4, 2, 3, and start making up stories. No one has to see it, right? You're just doing this. It's your own little game that you're playing. Does that answer what you just asked me?
Yeah, I think it's a good way to do it, treating it like a game. Because when you treat it like a game, then it's not so serious. And so now it's not like a do or die situation. Oh, if it doesn't come true, I'm so disappointed and all this other stuff. Now,
right.
Now it's just a little childhood game.
And you have nothing to lose. What do you have to lose? While you're writing the story, it feels good. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't feel good, it's not going to work.
Right.
So you have to get yourself into that place, like watching a movie. You get so sucked into the movie, you feel everything happening with every character, right? You just do that with yourself.
So it sounds like the 2 keys to the approach that you take is first getting yourself into that, what Abraham calls the high-flying place, the high vibration, the feel-good place where you're feeling great. Yeah. And that's what you're doing with the first part of your journaling. Just by appreciating all the stuff that's going right, you're getting yourself feeling really, really good. And then once you're there, then you're doing your dream storytelling, or your future storytelling, where you're kind of just making stuff up and willy-nilly, like, just whatever comes to mind you put down, that kind of thing.
Right.
Okay.
And you know what? We live our stories, right? So if there is something you're living in your life and that's not working for you, you just got to change the story.
They teach us that. We talk about that on the podcast. All the different co-hosts have their own angles on it and so forth. It's such a simple concept, and yet it's amazing how often we human beings trip on it. It just blows my mind how often we do that.
But I think
Me too, by the way.
But maybe then you have to also bring in that playfulness for it. So like I'm at a point right now where it's something, there's like 2 things I'm working on in my life that are a little bit heavier. And so when I feel that energy come over, I can flip the vibration pretty quickly now. And so the reason why I'm saying that is because it just takes practice to shift your mindset or the story, to let yourself kind of be free of that story for even the 10 minutes that you're journaling or whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. Just kind of live the dream, like, because, you just have to keep focusing on the thing we want. But if you can live it in your mind, I mean, everything's born out of thought, right? So you just change the story. And before, so someone asks you how you're doing, right? And you're like, oh, God, I'm miserable. This is something. Stop telling that story. Just stop it. Did you ever see that Bob Newhart clip?
Which one?
The one that's Stop It, because he's the shrink and the woman comes with the problem.
No, I don't think I know that one.
Okay, I'm not even going to tell you. Anyone listening, just go and Google Bob Newhart Stop It, and you will just love this because he summed it all up in this little comedy skit.
Okay, I'll have to check that one out myself.
So stop it. So stop telling that. It's a fun story. You'll enjoy it. But it just, to me, every time we talk about something like this, that clip pops in my head.
I can imagine. Yeah.
Just stop telling that story. Rewrite the story. Aren't we the architects and writers of our own life?
Well, yeah. Obviously we are, and I say obviously after many years of getting myself to the point where I can say obviously.
Right.
Because, there was a time, and I've told this one to our listeners many times with a number of the co-hosts, there was a time where I didn't even believe I could move my emotional set point, let alone shift it around at will whenever I wanted to just by focusing on something. And early on, it was tough for me. And there are times where it's still tough for me. It's gotten easier. Like you say, practice does make a difference. The more that you practice, the more that you put your will to it, the more you just apply yourself, the better you get at it. But I do remember that first time, probably now, 5 or 6 years ago, something like that. The very first time that I was able to consciously move my emotional set point up and realize that I had done it was a mind-blowing breakthrough. And I didn't move it very much. I mean, I was like at, frustrated, and I moved it up to disappointed. It was that little of a change, it was small, but I did it, and it's like, oh my God, I actually moved the needle. I can't believe I moved the needle.
Right. Yeah. So that's definitely something to celebrate, because when you get more in that energy, then more of it can happen, of course, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And it has taken time. I mean, I clearly had a lifetime of distrusting to overcome. There was a lot of momentum there in the wrong direction. So it's taken a while, but as time goes on, I get better and better at it. I've gotten to the point now where I'm not always able to move my mood immediately, but if I apply myself throughout a day, I can move it throughout the day. So that's a huge change right there, to be able to do it that quickly compared to where I was.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it depends on how big the thing is that you're dealing with, right? So even though I can do it, there are times where I'm like, God, this isn't shifting, and I know a lot of things to do to clear my energy. So then that's when I'll just kind of nurture myself, because I'm like, okay, there's a reason for this. It's not something I have to just glide over and flip. I have to be with it. So then I allow myself to be with the energy, and maybe watch some funny movies or something, and just let yourself kind of shift out of it, but without like hating it, kind of like loving it, right? So you're in this really low place. You're like, okay, you know what? I'm just going to own this, because at least I have the understanding for me that there's a purpose to it. And if I can't flip it that quickly, then I know I need to just let it process.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I know that usually whenever I'm not feeling up, I'm feeling down, I'm feeling so, whatever, it's almost always tied to some kind of current what is. Something that's been going on in life that is a current thing. I don't think I have too much left anymore that's from my deep dark past. I've pretty much rooted most of that out, I think. But current stuff, current what is stuff, and I think a lot of people have this. That just you get hung up on it, like this. Well, this is my important thing that's going on in my life right now, and I'm not happy about it. I'm supposed to shift my energy. Yeah, well, right. That's not happening right now.
Right. Yeah. Well, you know what? That's where. Surrender comes in.
Surrender, yeah.
And surrender's a hard one. Boy, I still struggle with surrender sometimes. And that's just for me. And it should be easier for me to surrender, because I know what it feels like to have that energy flow through me while I'm doing healing work.
Yeah, I mean, you would think so, but I just learned that every time that I develop some new aspect of the overall skill set, so to speak, I recognize I've developed this new skill set, and then I say to myself, well, if I can do that, I should be able to do, if I can do A, I should be able to do B. And yet when I'm sitting there knowing how to do A, B still seems a mile away.
Yeah, but so then you just want to focus on, well, I'm getting closer to it.
I'm getting closer,
day.
Exactly, yeah. Like, well, I couldn't do A yesterday. Hey, I can do A now. That's a good thing. Yeah, thumbs up, all right.
So the thing with the surrender that I've actually, still working with, and even though I know this, you just, I mean, I don't know if you ever get to this on your show about the support you have in spirit. You have guides. So sometimes you just need to surrender the thing to spirit to just help you, to clear it for you, to send you in the right direction, to give you a sign. You can ask for signs, you'll get signs. That's like really taking it off your shoulders.
Oh, yeah.
And when you can just do it with that, because there's resistance, like, oh yeah, like there's really guides out there, they're going to take this thing from me.
What are they, like little pixie fellows or something?
Yeah. So we all get sucked back into lower energies like that, but again, to me, that I'm just learning surrender better and better every time I can't do it.
Well, that's part of the fun, actually, of having so many co-hosts. I did do the idea of having multiple co-hosts who are all life coaches deliberately. But the unintended consequence of that was all the wonderful perspectives that come into it. So, for instance, as I think about them, like Wendy Dillard, who used to do this time slot, and she's now doing the Tuesdays and Thursday time slot. And by the way, I should take a moment and just tell everybody what's happened with the schedule. The schedule is pretty much the same as it always was. Linda's now going to be doing the Friday afternoon slot. Patricia Framo's joining us. She's going to be doing the Monday afternoon slot. Cindy Chavez, who does Tuesday and Wednesday morning, she's also going to do the Wednesday afternoon slot. Wendy's going to keep doing the Tuesday and Thursday slots. So we all the slots are remaining the same. We're just kind of shifting things around, mainly because Wendy was finding 5 days a week was more than she wanted to do. She wanted to keep doing it. She just wanted to do it 2 days instead of 5 days. So we were accommodating that. And in the process, I'm getting 2 new people to have perspectives from, which is what I was referring to a moment ago. Those perspectives are huge. So like with Wendy talks a lot about connecting with her inner being, kind of similar to what you're talking about with spirit guides. And she has, it's amazing just in the time that she and I have been doing the show, the degree to which she's evolved with her ability to carry on these communications. I mean, she's like having full conversations virtually every day. And I'm thinking, wow, I really want to learn that skill. That's one heck of a skill. On the other hand, I've got Joel Elston, who I've been doing the show with for years, actually. He was one of my earliest co-hosts, and he doesn't even do anything like that. He's an action guy, you know. He totally gets that you have to be in alignment and all that kind of thing, but he doesn't hesitate to get in alignment while he's taking his action steps. You know, so his orientation is entirely different in that way. Cindy Chavez. Cindy has one of the lightest personalities I've ever met. She is just sweetness. I mean, she's also going to be very serious and very direct on topic and so forth, but she just has a lightness of being about her. And, you know, so I don't know that we actually talk a whole lot about inner being. I guess we do sometimes, but more she's talking about it in terms of, you know, just what she's saying, what she's getting out of it, and how it turns into whatever it's turning into. She doesn't actually spend a whole lot of time talking about, well, this is what my inner being said to me. It's just not her way of expressing things. Right. With Tom Wells, Tom and I basically we're exploring all kinds of aspects of you know, how do we tap into energy? What does source energy mean to us, and all that kind of thing. We refer to the inner being, but I with Tom's more into, like, he does what do they call what's he call that thing where you're auto writing, you're auto channeling stuff that comes to you. He does that kind of thing a lot. He does a number of very different kinds of modalities for channeling spirit in a sense, but he doesn't really describe it in terms of spirit guides. And then David is just pure Abraham. If you wanted to have Abraham come in and just be a single person, that would be David. David he's just spouting Abraham constantly.
Oh, that's fun. Well, you know what? Something that my guides tell me all the time is there's no right way. Keep it simple.
True.
There's no right way. You know, we all interpret pretty much the same thing in many different ways.
That's true. Yeah.
Like I would call the inner being my higher self, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually have started calling my inner being the rest of me. And the reason I say that is it's my way of reminding myself that it's not separate from me. It's not like this other thing that I'm having to negotiate with or something like that. It's part of me, and I'm part of it. So there's no separation there. And by reminding myself of that, that's how I'm able to feel more comfortable with the idea I actually can communicate with my inner being.
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I'll give you another way to look at it, just because it's been given to me and I love it because it resonated like boom. So if your energy, so let's call your energy 100%.
Okay.
There's the 80-20 rule. Only 20% is in this physical body.
Yeah.
The other 80% is your higher self and guides. They're all different aspects of you.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, I mean, because I don't know how you are in past lives, but I know I've lived many lives. I've seen many of them. So it's just different aspects of you that you can work with.
I've never explored past lives for myself. I did have one psychic once tell me that I had lived, I think she said, over 1,300 lives, and most of them with my wife. And and I said to myself, boy, was I busy. But beyond that, I have no clue. I really have no idea.
Yeah.
None whatsoever.
Well, you know, it's the possibility out there, right?
Now, I will tell you one thing. I never refer to my inner being as my higher self. Not that I think there's anything necessarily wrong with the term, but for me, I don't like the term because to me it implies, well, that means my physical side is my lower self. I don't want to think of my physical side as my lower self. So that's why I don't like the term.
Yeah. Or maybe you can think of it as your expanded self, the higher part.
Yeah, well, that's why I think of it as the rest of me, because that way, in my mind, it all stays as one. It's all one continuity.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, rest of me is a good one.
Yeah, I've been living with that one for about 3 or 4 weeks now, and I'm liking that one a lot. So, yeah. So this is good. I do want to take a moment. This is not normally the time I do this. I sometimes do it like the 20 minutes after the hour. Sometimes I do it close to the end of the hour. But I always like to take one moment during the show to remind people who are new listeners, because we do get new listeners, checking us out periodically. If you're enjoying what you're hearing here, let me tell you, every single episode is just as powerful, and it's all different. Every single time it's a different topic, a different exploration. And you want to get all of them coming to your smartphone or to your tablet or whatever device you're listening on. And the reason we know you want to do that is because we have a whole bunch of subscribers who do exactly that. I mean, Linda, literally, we have found just through the numbers that we're able to track in terms of downloads and so forth, we know that on average, both subscribers and non-subscribers combined total, on average, our listeners listen to 30 to 45 episodes a month.
Wow.
And we know that they're listening to at least 90% of the episode every time.
Wow, that's beautiful.
So people are really digging it. And they don't do, people are not going to spend their time listening to this stuff unless they're really getting a lot out of it over and over again. I really believe it's because they're getting their daily dose of happy. But if we actually have had people call in, and they've given us a variety of reasons why they listen. And they're all very positive reasons. My point is, if you're not yet a subscriber, you really want to do it. It's going to pay off for you big time. And the best part is that it's so darn easy to do. You just go to the homepage of our website, loatoday.net. Right below the main player, if you're listening to this live, you'll be listening on that player most likely. Right below that are instructions on how to connect in case you ever want to call in. And just below that are instructions of how to subscribe to the podcast. It takes about a minute to do. It's really quick. It's so easy. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. And when you're done, you'll get every single one of the 45 episodes that we do every single month coming right to your device so you can play them anytime you want to. And Linda, you know what we get a lot of? We get people telling us that they binge listen. They'll save up a whole bunch of them, and then they'll spend an entire day just playing one episode after another.
Oh, really?
Which
That's
blows
awesome.
my mind. I mean, I was like, holy cow, this is great, but wow, I never expected that.
You know what? It's like you're keeping it real. You're making it easy to absorb, in my opinion.
Well, yeah, because, first of all, I really am serious. Well, I'm also laughing about it, but I'm serious when I say this is your daily dose of happy. We want people to feel happier when they come away from this. The only way that I know to do that is to be real. If I tried to be, flighty and airy-fairy, I wouldn't even buy into it. I'd be quitting the whole podcast. I'd be done with it. I want it to be real. In fact, I don't shy away from going after the tough issues, the tough parts of the whole topic and so forth. I love diving into the stuff that the gurus don't want to take any time on, but I love because that's where all the fun is. I want the fun. And I know listeners want the fun. We live, we live in a society where there is so much negativity coming from our media sources, whether it be news media or entertainment or any kind, theater, it doesn't matter what it is. Music, they're even in music. I mean, for goodness sake, have you ever listened to lyrics of songs? I mean, some of them are like so depressing, like just shoot me now, I'm dead.
Yeah.
So we need to have alternative sources that are high energy. And that's why I wanted to make the whole podcast along that line. So keeping it real is an absolute necessity in that direction. I don't see any other way to do it, really.
Right. No, and that's why people resonate to you, because that's what we want, right?
Exactly, yeah. Plus now with you and Patricia coming on, I mean, we're just adding 2 more perspectives, 2 more voices. I can only just imagine what listeners are going to start thinking when they realize they've got these 2 more voices coming in here. Because every single perspective that comes in, every time we've added a new perspective in the podcast, talk about expansion, I can feel the expansion. Normally, I can't feel expansion. Normally, if it happens, like, oh, I guess it happened. But I don't know. It's like I know it intellectually. It's about it. But when we bring new voices in, boy, do I feel that. I feel that in a big way. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It's fun. That's why I'm addicted to this darn thing. And that's why our listeners are, too. That's why they keep listening to,
that's what I'm saying.
35 episodes a month? Holy cow.
You just took the words right out of my mouth.
It still blows me away. So, yeah, this is good stuff. Now, I don't know what we're going to be talking about with you in the future. I mean, we'll probably just make it up as we go along, I imagine, for a bit. But I do want to encourage you, feel free, bring topics. As we're doing these things, bring topics that are, Tom is great at this. Tom likes to talk about whatever is the thing he's working on right now.
Right.
And then he'll turn that into, a topic that's appropriate to what we talk about. And he comes with great topics doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing with Joel and I, it's like, okay, Joel, what you post about? Okay, yeah, we're doing that. That's the topic. We're done. It just, everybody does it differently. So I'm just trying to encourage you, do whatever you want to do. But if you love bringing topics, bring topics. That's great.
All right. Yeah, I'll send you some emails with ideas, and we'll see what resonates with you.
I'll tell you.
Or we just wing it and see what comes up.
I'm telling you, just bring them. Seriously, I don't think I've ever turned down an idea.
Okay.
There may have been a time, but I'm not thinking of one right now. Because I learned, well, I'm serious when I talk about how important the perspectives are. To me, I've learned that if I just trust that whatever that person's perspective is going to bring something cool, then anything goes. Literally anything they want to talk about goes.
All right.
So seriously, this is like, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to empower you to feel like you can bring up any topic you want to bring up. I don't care how daring it is. I don't care how out there it is. I don't care how weird it is. Bring it up. Okay,
that's good because most of my stuff gets really weird.
Okay. Well, then we'll just call you the Queen of Weird, and that's good. That way you have your own nickname. I mean, everybody should have a show nickname, right?
I mean, it's only weird if you haven't experienced working with the spiritual aspects of things and that energy that is outside of you.
That's actually fascinating to me. I mean, the first time I heard about spirit guides and alternatives to Christian doctrine and so forth was through my sister. My sister has been involved in this kind of stuff for quite some time, a lot longer than I have for sure. And she was involved in like a spiritualist church for a number of years, and she was she's been experiencing and practicing developing her psychic abilities, and I mean she's been doing a lot of this stuff for a long time. And so when she first told me about spirit guides, I said, "What? What are you talking about?" But I've come to understand them and even appreciate what they are over time. And I have to say, my sister has some really fascinating spirit guide stories, including one. Yeah. I'll tell you this one. This is a really fun one. She lived in Washington D.C. for many, many years, and then just before my niece got born, she moved to where my parents were living in Smith Mountain Lake, outside of Roanoke, Virginia. And there was one occasion where she needed to go back to DC for something. I don't know what it was. And she was late. And if you know anything about traffic around Washington, D.C., particularly around the Beltway, you know how bad that traffic can be. And it's like that all the time. There are no, I mean, during the rush, it's really bad. You know, your rush hour in D.C. into Virginia, that's like 2-3 hours right there. It's crazy. But even not in the rush, the traffic is always wild. About the only time it's not wild is like 3 o'clock in the morning. That's about it. So anyway, she's late. She's trying to get to this thing, and she had just learned about spirit guides, I think within like the last year or two. So they were relatively new to her, but she had I don't know, classes or sessions or whatever, where she'd been introduced to some of them, and she had learned who some of them were. And so she said, okay, well, I'm going to call on my spirit guides because I really need to get to this thing on time, this thing that I'm going to, and I know I'm going to be late. So she put out to her spirit guides, I need your help. How do I get there fast? And apparently one of her spirit guides is somebody who was formerly an Indian chief. I don't know the details of that, but that's how much of it I know. And so the Indian chief started whooping a war whoop and said, just follow me. And she says, okay, now drive fast. And she's driving fast on the highway, way too fast, you know, faster than certainly a trooper would allow. And then he says, okay, slow down, slow down, slow down. And she slows down. And about half a mile later, there's a trooper, and they go past. Okay, speed up. And they're speeding up. They're flying down the highway. No, slow. She slows down. There's another trooper. That's the way they went into D.C. They got there with 2 minutes to spare.
Wow, that's awesome.
Now, this is not something we recommend that you try at home. We definitely do not recommend that you speed on the highways, but it is a fun story. And that's why I tell it, just as a fun story.
And I totally get it, and it's extremely real to me. So there you go. That's my world.
So that's your world. Welcome to it, right? So how long have you been connected to spirit? Is that something you've always? I mean, when I say connected, I mean aware of your connection. Aware
of the connection, because everybody's connected.
Yeah.
You know what? It's just been developing. Like, you know, when I started out, I actually started out. I know we don't have much time left. I'll try to keep this short. But as a karate teacher and instructor, that's my business. I had a tear in my rotator cuff, and I woke up one day, I just couldn't move my arm.
Ouch.
But that took me to this whole thing of healing. Now that happened, and that's what made me go towards finding, you know, my passion. I did an internet marketing course, and I found this, you know, law of attraction coaching. I'm like, yeah, that's up my alley. So I started learning all that. But then during that time, and maybe we'll tell this story another time, but the long and short of it is that I wound up healing my shoulder because I signed up for a meditation course. I wasn't even supposed to be invited to until I finished that coaching course, but somehow I got it. I'm on that course, started in October. In December, we have a Christmas party, and there's other people from my dojo there who have had the surgery that I was going to go have in January. And they're talking about their nightmare stories. And I just felt, sensed somehow a message that you can heal yourself. And so I thought, okay, I can heal myself. And wouldn't you know it, the next course, the next class in this meditation course that I was taking, this year-long thing, was all about self-healing. I healed my shoulder within 2 months through meditation. That was like the beginning of it. And it just kind of evolved, like the next thing I know, I hear they're offering Reiki. I'm like, what the heck is Reiki? But I had to do it. So I signed up for that. And then like all these modalities kept coming my way. And throughout that whole journey, my connection has become stronger and stronger and stronger. And there's a lot of the time where I kind of didn't even understand the connection until when I finally clicked about what the connection is. I'm like, oh, I've been connected all along. I didn't know it.
That's a bit of a shock.
Yeah, because in our mind gets in the way from actually just allowing this natural experience to happen.
So you agree with what most teachers teach, which is we all have that connection. It's just a question of learning to interact with it.
Yep. Yeah, or even maybe we'll do a sign on spirit science from spirit, because you're getting guidance all the time. You're just not aware of it. Because you've never been told that it's possible or even how to notice these signs, And then once you start to do that, you start to open up and realize, wow, okay, that's not a coincidence. How the heck did that happen? Right?
Well, that's the one thing that has happened with me. I can't say I totally have figured out the spirit connection for myself. I mean, sometimes I'm able to pick up signs or messages or whatever, but I'm still, I consider myself a novice in that sense. But on those occasions where Louise and I need to manifest something. Very often they're like almost extreme conditions. We got to have this. When those things happened, and in fact, one of them was the last story that I wrote into the book that we did. When they happened, the way that they happen are so serendipitous, so out there. I mean, my favorite way to describe it is, if a Hollywood scriptwriter were to write the script the way it happened, the script would be rejected as unbelievable.
Well, you know what? And there is your connection, which is always just, sometimes they got to prove it to you in a bigger way, right?
Yeah, right. Well, sometimes I need like a little 2x4 or something like that. Wake up over here, Walt.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's all it is.
That's the thing that really just blows my mind. How when stuff starts happening, because I'm in the right place, I never can predict how it's going to happen. I've tried so hard to map it out in my mind. Oh, it's just going to happen this way. It never works the way I map it. Not even close.
Yeah. But if you're holding the energy of it, we don't have to know how it happens. We just have to know we're going there.
Yeah. And then hang on. That's my best advice to anybody. Just hang on. It's going to be quite a ride.
Yeah.
Well, this is good. I think we've got a good vibe associated this time, and it's been good getting to know you. We do have like a little under 4 minutes left, so I'm going to ask you one more thing. You mentioned your coaching business as a karate instructor, and you did write about that in the book. And talk about a 2-minute potted biography. Tell us about what the whole world of karate has meant to you, particularly as it ties to you as a spiritual being.
I guess part of that would be that when you're training in karate, if you're taking it further and further than just like a workout, you start to actually connect to that part of you that can overcome and can achieve stuff that you didn't think you ever could. Mm-hmm. Okay. In that sense, possibly. I think it just helped me kind of step into my power in a different way. Mm-hmm. And in the beginning, the spiritual side of it wasn't so much there until I opened up to that more as well. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it answers it. I mean, you answer it the way you answer it because that's what's meaningful for you. I mean, I think I was partly thinking about what you wrote in your story in the book. And by the way, if you haven't gotten a copy of the book, get it just to read Linda's story about how she went after her second degree in karate and ended up getting her third degree. It was just that's a great story. I love that one. Where are you up to now? I don't even know where you are right now.
Yeah.
Are you third degree right now?
I'm still third degree.
Third degree.
I've kind of not trained as much as I've been opening up to all the work I'm doing now.
Oh, I see.
I still teach. I teach kids mostly,
Mm-hmm.
but I put a lot more of my focus into this healing work that I'm doing now in the coaching.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So I could have been, more further along, but that's okay. I am where I am, and I'm totally happy with it.
yeah. Well, you're where you need to be. That's really what it comes down to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that story about how you got the third, I mean, it was a classic law of attraction story. Just absolutely classic.
Well, and I was learning about it. No, actually I didn't. No, that was before I knew that. I think what really got me going on the way I did that was working with crystals and kind of programming them with an intention. And then I went with the intention, and it proved to me everything about how this law of attraction. No, actually, I must have already known about. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. I never know anymore what came first. I just know what is. So.
Well, that's how you know that you're no longer stuck in the what is. You're so much into where you're moving to that you've almost forgotten the connection to the what is.
Yeah, like I can't really recall. I'd have to yeah.
Oh, that's funny. Well, great. Well, I'm glad that we got a chance to know each other and so forth. One last thing I want to ask you to do before we leave. Mm-hmm. How does somebody who wants to perhaps get cleared, maybe they want to get that kind of energy cleared, they've got something going on, and you might be the kind of person to help with. How do they reach out to you?
They can go to my website, lovemylife.coach. They can email me, linda@lovemylife.coach. You can go to my YouTube channel and get to know me better through the videos. Maybe, if you didn't or don't have too much of a feel so far with me, you can, or my blog, you just find out basically by my website what I'm all about. And you can there's many buttons throughout every page where you can click to connect with me.
Okay. And I presume you have some kind of introductory thing?
Like
do you do like some sort of an introductory conversation, find out what they want and all that kind of thing?
Well, I have an application for the people can fill out.
An application. Oh, okay.
To get on a phone call with me, and then we can see if we're a match together.
Gotcha. Okay.
But I do allow people to just schedule a single session, and you can do that right from my website.
Oh, okay. Good. Very good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is great. I'm looking forward to talking to you next week already. I can hardly wait for next Friday.
Yeah. Great. Thanks.
All right. And we'll
the universe is talking again, Walt.
How about that? Yeah, isn't that a good thing? Well, that's why we want people to keep tuning in. We hope you join us next time here on LOA Today. Goodbye, everybody.